So, hi, Gabriela. Thank you so much again for joining me today. I'm really honored to have you as part of this project. So, just a quick reminder that this is an interview that is part of a graduate course at FIU. So, I'll be recording. So, if everything sounds good to you, we can get started.
Sure, let's do so.
Mhm. Okay, so to begin, could you please introduce yourself just a little bit about yourself, your background, your current role, and anything you had like to share?
Let's see. My name is Gabi. I actually lead the Telemundo Consumer Insight. I'm Venezuelan. And well, that's it. Let's just keep it brief.
Okay, thank you. So let's dive into the first question. So the first question is, how has working in this multicultural media influenced your marketing strategy over the years? I imagine that as you work at NBC, Universal Telemundo, that gives you like a really unique perspective about it.
Yes. I mean, working on a multicultural media has taught me that one side fits all approach, it really doesn't work. Especially when you're engaging with USA Hispanics, that the audience is very far away from monolithic. We are very different. It actually pushed me here. We lead as with cultural intelligence, not just demographic. It's not about demographic, it's about cultural truth. In Telemundo, we focus a lot to understand the cultural relevance and what shapes everything from the and that shapes everything from the content that we developed even to the market strategy of our content. It makes us more human. It makes us more relevant and emotional. We connect better with our audience.
That's a really interesting point. Thank you, Gabriela. The other question I have is like in
Please
your
feel free
view.
to call me Gabby.
Sorry?
Feel free to call me Gabby.
Okay, Gabby. Sorry, Gabby. So, in your in your view, what's the biggest misconception marketers have about the Hispanic audience in the US? I think this is something that many young marketers don't fully understand.
I'll go again with the fact that they think they're because of a Hispanic, that we're just one, that we're a moholic, that we're a
Hmm.
single audience. And we're not. In reality, we're very far away. We're very diverse in culture, even in language, in our values, in our media behavior. I think that many things that you can just by translating or putting in Spanish the content, that's enough. But it translates more than that. It's also to make sure that the content it's relevant to each one of the culture. I mean, here in Telemundo, we do a lot of research to make sure that we represent, and it's not just about language. It's about being authentic, it's about being relevant, it's about reflecting Hispanics life, it's about connecting with them. And I think that's a truly opportunity for us, and I think that's what is make us different from many.
That's super helpful to hear, and I think that really changes like the way that we think about like audience segmentation, mostly on the Hispanic audience. I also wanted to
Yeah.
ask what are the most critical skills young marketers need to develop today to succeed in this space? Like from your experience, what really makes someone stand out?
I'll say three of them. And I think that three keys for me and that I try to make sure that my team focus on. One, for sure, cultural fluency. Like we need to understand the culture dynamic. We need to understand what shapes people's identity, their behavior. That's kind of essential for us, especially because we work on a multicultural market. Second, data knowledgeable. I think that we need to understand the data and being able to interpret those numbers and also translate it into actions. I
Mhm.
insist with my team that insights are very powerful only if they inspire actions. And I think for young marketers, they really need to understand how to influence, not just to inform data, but to influence. And I guess that the third one, it's very aligned, it's a storytelling. The ability to actually combine that data with emotional narrative and actually drive through a connection and a story. Those for me are key. And I actually emphasize a lot with that on my with my team.
Thank you. I think I have a next question, but I skip this one because what you said is so related to one of the questions I have, which is how do you balance the creativity and the data in your role as a marketing leader? I think that that's something that we as marketers struggle a lot because like both sides are important, but sometimes people just focus on data or people just focus on creativity. Like, what's your approach to this?
I think that when you think that they are opposite, you're missing the real point. I think that you have to see them as a partner. Data has to come with creative. And here at Telemundo, we use the data to uncover those human truth that fools that creative side. And I think that having them combined, it's important. And I'm going to tell you, some of the most impactful creative things that we have done, it comes from very sharp insights. And sometimes we have insights that have been challenged on the creative side, and those has just help us to ask more deeper questions. But they always have those two worlds have to be combined. At least how that's how we see it here.
Yeah, I think that balance is the key. And I love how you like explain your approach. And so going back to the question I skipped, like I wanted to ask like a personal question if you could share a moment in your career where a marketing campaign didn't go as expected and what did you learn from it?
Well, I don't work on the marketing side, but I do work very close with marketing. And it comes to my mind one of the brand campaign that we had for a specific IP where we knew at that point that the audience was looking for comedia. They wanted to laugh, they wanted to have fun, they wanted to enjoy. So for this new IP that we were launching, we focused on that. But people were tuning in and they were watching, but they were leaving. And when we went and asked, like, why didn't you stay? It was like, well, you offer me something that I was gonna laugh and it was gonna be comedian, it was gonna be funny, but it was not just that. It was not about that. And for them, it was more like, oh, it was a drama, but it does have spicy. And I think that what we learn is like we have to be as truth to our IP as we can be. Like we cannot under promise or we cannot over promise. We have to be, we know what they want, but we want to make sure that what we say that we're going to give them, it's exactly what we're going to give them.
Mhm. I really
And I can
think,
have many other examples, but I guess that that will give you the idea of
yeah, and
I think the trusting is important as well.
I love to ask this type of questions because I think that we really learn the most from the things that actually don't go as planned. That's where we actually learn. And the last
100%.
question, thank you, Gabby. And the last question I had for you is like, what trends do you think will define the media marketing over the next 5 years? What are you like personally watching or preparing for the near future?
5 years sounds very far away. I think that we're right now, I think there's five trends that I can identify that it's right now happening. And one of them, I mean, AI and predictable insights. We here in Telemundo are using a lot of AI and we're exploring a lot of partners with AI. We don't use AI just to optimize at this point. We do are using AI to even anticipate what would be the needs and how to inform creative. That it's huge for us. I think that going again to the cultural point, I think that we need to move beyond of personalizing to a cultural relevance at scale. And that's why I say like it's a 5 years, but also it's a present right now. Culture for us is important. It's not just about the person, but also about the culture. I we just had like a study that I think that it's very aligned to your question because we have seen that content right now it's used as identified. People are choosing the brands and the media that reflects their values and their way of life. Like content, it's basically for them what identifies what they identify with. Another one that I will say that is very relevant and it's going to keep being more and more, it's streaming and social media merging. I think that here for you as Hispanics, we are like very digital accelerated and consuming. Like we're like every time that you see a trend, I think you as Hispanics are like the first ones. And I think that it comes also when it comes to streaming and
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah.
And I guess the last one that I can think of would be being meaningful. I think that audience are expecting that brand stands for something, and it has to like they will make sure that they follow those brands that are purpose to something.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's incredibly insightful, Gabby. Thank you so much. Those were all of my questions. I really appreciate your time, your openness. I will be editing this interview before I publish it. And once again, I really want to thank you. This was a huge pleasure. I really admire you as a professional and as a person and as a Latina. You're such an inspiration to me. Thank you so much for your openness. You were so kind to me. I really appreciate that. And I hope the best for you.
I gotta be honest, I love your questions. I think that you're making the right questions. I think that I keep listening to your questions and make me reflect. I'm like, damn, those questions are really good questions. So I thank you for the questions.
Thank you.
I
Thank
enjoy
you.
them.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabby. Thank you so much.
I'm here for anything that you need. I'll be here.
Thank you, Gabby.